So we found this on Amazon. It was selling on Amazon for probably still today, $6. And we put it on ClickFunnels, and we sold it for, I think, $12. And so realistically what we did is every time we got an order, we would go to Amazon and we'd put that person's address in and ship them out one. And we made $6 on it. And that's kind of how we started finding products. I was selling t-shirts off a website, but I wasn't collecting the buyer information. So realistically, I was unemployed every time I ended a t-shirt campaign, to where I wasn't making any more money unless I started up a new shirt. I didn't have a brand, I didn't have anything like that. I was just selling t-shirts. And so it really became important for me to start collecting names, buyers' information, right? Their phone number, their shipping address, their email address, their name, like all the really crucial stuff to reconnect with them. Well, I wasn't doing that with the system I was using. So we reached out to a couple friends of ours and said, hey, is there any way that you can build us a website that would sell t-shirts? Because that's what we knew how to do. It took about 2 months to get the website built, and we go to launch and the whole system just breaks. Like the whole website didn't function, like absolutely nothing. Like it was awful. We'd spent a lot of money, thousands of dollars on this website. So that really put me in a pretty bad time, because here I am, like, we've stopped ads, money isn't coming in, the website's breaking, I don't have a job, and I don't know, and it's coming Christmas, and I don't know really where things are gonna go. And alongside me is my brother. So I not only am I, kind of under the hammer to like make an income for my family, but I also got to make sure he's going to be safe and his family. So that was a lot on me. Like that was a lot of weight. And, there was nights that it was pretty hard to sleep because I didn't know how I was going to change, like what I was going to fix. And it gets me emotionally upset because that's like some pretty crazy stuff, because it's like I'm doing all these things right, I think. But at the end of the day, it's like everything's breaking. It's like almost like putting sand in your hands, and like the sand is just like falling through. Like just you can't get a grasp on things. This lady I knew that I reached out to, she's like, hey, have you ever heard of this thing called ClickFunnels? And no, I hadn't. I had not heard of this thing called ClickFunnels. And she's like, hey, you should really try it out. It's a pretty cool thing. It does some pretty sweet things. I think it's probably what you're looking for. Put a t-shirt up there. And within the first 48 hours of that t-shirt being on ClickFunnels and us pushing some traffic to it, we paid for a full year of ClickFunnels within those 48 hours. And that's when I was able to kind of like go, this is what's going to change us. This is what we've been looking for. This is what's going to make our business sound and create a structure and a foundation underneath us that's going to explode our company. And that was a year and a half ago. The reason that we're in the guns is because of Bryceland, my brother. He was going to be a police officer. And we decided, hey, you know what? Let's start a gun page. So I go to Alibaba, AliExpress, I check all those websites, and I start to look. I start to say, hey, what's cool? And then I go to Amazon or I go to Walmart and I start to arbitrage them, right? I'll build a funnel through ClickFunnels, and I say, okay, can we take some of our audience and sell it, to them? Now on day one, did we have anyone? No, right? We started with 1 like. That's what our fan page started with. That's one thing you got to take a step back and look at is, yeah, we have a 1 million email list. Oh, geez, that'd be so nice to have. We didn't have that in day one, right? Oh, it'd be so cool to have 300,000 likes on my fan page. Yeah, it was cool to us too, because we didn't have that, right? We only had 1. That was me, right? And so it takes time to build that stuff. It takes time to evolve. But if you do it right and you do it good, then success will follow. And that's where ClickFunnels comes into play. Is like, hey, let's build an audience and let's send that audience to an offer they're gonna love. I'm pretty dang sure this was our first funnel. So anyways, just a bracelet, and basically it says freedom on it, and it's for police wives. So it's for police wives to wear. So like what we found was in the comments, they started saying that they want a different color. So the big one obviously was the striped blue. So with police, they do the blue line and then the black on the surrounding. So we started trying to implement that versus doing this white. So it turned out really good. They also said they wanted a watch, so we started creating this one. We still sell.
Still sell a lot of them.
Oh yeah, we've sold thousands of these things. They're bracelets. And how much do these cost us? 20 cents?
It's that, yeah.
20 cents? I don't know. Let's say 40 cents. And we sell them for $27 out the door. They go. But ClickFunnels works, so that's a great premium item. So it has a lot of margin to it, which is really nice. We sell wolf oil. We do this one for free. We'll sell this. We sell a lot of this. We sell a lot of these. These are actually targets that we ran into. So a guy reached out to us and he's like, hey, do you think you can sell these targets to your list? And so we tried, and sure enough, we started selling these. They hang from a string, so they swivel, and then the people shoot them. And then we have the glow shot targets. This is really cool. So found these are really, really nice. These are I really enjoy these. They're monoculars to really see downrange. Probably one of my favorites. Comes with a nice little case. Yeah, we get those for $5 and we sell them for $50. We would go find something on, Etsy or Pinterest or Instagram or Amazon, whatever, or Walmart.com even, and we'd find products that we thought we could sell to our audience. And so what we would do is we'd build a sales page around that. And we would reach out and we'd say, okay, how many does Walmart.com have in stock online? How much is it priced for? Okay, because we know at the end of the day, we can get that item for less than Walmart, right? It's what it's selling it for, right? You just got to buy them in bulk. But we wanted to see if the product worked. So we'd set up a ClickFunnels account or a ClickFunnels funnel, and we would put that item, take the pictures, put it on the order form, show them a little squeeze page, say, hey, here's a knife set. Check out this really cool kitchen knife set that you're gonna love. It does everything you could ever think it does. Put it up, send some traffic to it. Did it convert? No? Okay. Next one, right? Okay, how about this really cool tape dispenser, right? Everybody needs a tape dispenser, so let's do that, right? So then you got a tape dispenser, and all of a sudden, boom, traffic comes in, it starts converting, great. So we buy it off Walmart.com, ship it out from Walmart, really easy to arbitrage that way. Now, of course, you're not making any money, but it's a good rule to say, hey, you know what? If we send more traffic to this, we're gonna make a lot more money. So then you switch the railroad tracks, right? Now we start outsourcing. We say, hey, we want 100 of these, ship those to us for half the price. So now we're making that margin. ClickFunnels was the key component to making all that work. And that was like where, again, I get that aha moment of, this is going to be huge. This is what's going to change our business structure. We started with a 2-man staff, me and my brother. We hired on a clerical person, to kind of do some Adobe Photoshop stuff, answer phones, start talking to people, and then a sales guy. So we had a total of 4. We started working in my house. But then we started to grow, right? We started shipping stuff out. There was things that needed to change. We started, my garage started being filled with product. My whole upstairs, we call it the loft, where that was all business. See, it's a total mess up here now. It doesn't look anything like it did. But there's definitely clues that we were here. This is where it all started, and that's what's so cool about it is I sat there. That desk is still here. There was another desk right here, which is where Bryson kind of bunkered up, and then we had a third desk here, which we had a clerical lady, and then we turned the spare bedroom into a sales room. And that was kind of where Dylan started, and he started making calls out of there, and we were kind of trying to figure stuff out here. And this was where our whiteboard was. And so we'd come up here and start whiteboarding and figuring things out and drawing funnels, and we kind of put it all over the place and kind of draw back and figure things out. And I remember there was a day where I was designing on a piece of paper how I was gonna fit another desk up there. Because truthfully, I didn't want to move out, right? I didn't want to have to go pay for rent, right? I wanted to be the internet marketer who works from home. It just evolved, right? It started getting so big to where now the mailbox, you couldn't even see the mailbox anymore. But we had too many tubs. And it's okay, we need to move. We need to think of some other dynamics here, because a semi isn't gonna back up to my garage door every day. Premiumbeat.com. So we started looking for other locations that we could kind of facilitate the business out of. So we looked for a little small warehouse. That's what I'm gonna show you up here. So basically we came in here, we were this is, what is this? 1,500 square foot. It's not very big. And so the office is a 10 by 10. I remember Bryson, I was in this one, Bryson was in this one, and then we had a table out here. I'll show you that in a minute, but now they're repainting and everything. But we started here, and I remember getting in here, and I thought it was too much. And I was like, man, how are we gonna fill this up just with product? And it was just a ton of space. Well, little did we know, 3 months later, we were too full, and we had to move again. So that would be our second move. We had to move 3 times. So this is Bryson's room. We had this in here, which is his office, I guess. And then back here is where we actually had our call center coming in. So right here, we actually had tables coming out where we had 2, 4, 6 tables that would come out here. We had 5 people doing calls. We had 2 desks in the back that were that were basically our clerical workers that was doing like the ClickFunnels stuff, the Facebook stuff, things like that. And then at the same time, we had a wall right here. As you can see, like this, there used to be a beam here and a beam here. And here was like our recording studio. So then here, this is where I was like doing my videos. This is where like I was saying hello to the world and kind of showing like, hey, here's what we're doing, here's how we're doing it, and all this stuff. All this is all going on here, over here, and I'm in here, and then in here, and you can imagine, so all we have now is this space. So we have this wall, and this left to the garage. So we had this table and some shelves, and that was our product. That's where we had housed all of our product. This little space is where we were shipping out of for the whole time, about 3 or 4 months. And then we had, at one point, we had 4 guys back here just trying to cram. I mean, it was so crammed. So then what we did was, I'm going to show you a new place where we moved to. But so we said, okay, how about we just make this shipping? So we plowed down these walls right here. And so now this whole section became shipping. And I have pictures of this. So now this whole L is shipping. So what we did was we had tables that would L shape here, okay, down. And what started to happen was we started getting imports from China. So these walls were stacked to the top with just boxes, boxes, boxes. And then outgoing was United Postal Service, UPS. And so I'd say from like this wall right here and on, it was just a mess. Because it was just United States, these boxes right here. These boxes would be stacked so high that the garage door wouldn't open, to where we couldn't even get it out. And so that's when we knew like we needed to get something bigger. So what the idea was, we would move our call center back to the back. So we move our 4 guys back here, and then also move shipping back here. So I'll show you what that looks like. Well, the real reason I have ka-ching on the license plate is because when we started making sales through ClickFunnels, our Stripe account would go ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. And so that was always kind of our premise, is like, how can we make more ka-chings, happen? So anyways, that's where the ka-ching comes from. So this is my office. This is where pretty much headquarters come out. We have whiteboards everywhere. This is Bryson's office. He's all excited. And this is what we're coming into, is the call center. So this is where we do all of our calls. This is where we do all of our meetings. We do a morning meeting, an afternoon meeting, just keeping up with everybody. So really excellent. So let me show you some cool little stuff. I'll bring in here real quick. This is not only the recording studio. We do like all our recordings for NGOA stuff, Trey stuff that we push on ClickFunnels. But here's where we get to monitor everything that's going on through our entire system. So a lot of the ways that we get calls is by sending out email blasts. So a big one is like, we'll use ClickFunnels. So when someone comes through ClickFunnels, they go through an opt-in page, order page, upsell page, things like that. So we have segments that are created to where on a certain particular segment, it might say, hey, you didn't grab this upsell, or hey, you didn't even order, right? So what we do is we tell them to call us. We say, hey, make sure you call us real quick to grab this order. It's only a limited time, or we're doing the sale only today, things like that. If they didn't grab an upsell, same thing. Hey, I saw that you didn't grab the upsell. Why don't you call us today, and we'll be able to take care of that for you, get it running. Another thing that a lot of people don't do is they don't call their fails. That's one thing that we're very, very particular on, is everybody that's failing. So that's a person who's actually said, hey, I want to make a transaction and I wanted to purchase your item, but the credit card failed, or maybe they thumbed it wrong or something like that. And what we'll do is we'll reach out to them. We'll do an outbound call to them and say, hey, how can we help you out? And how can we make that sale happen? And so we'll do an outbound campaign through here. So all this is coming in. All these calls are because of ClickFunnels and what it's doing for us, and how we're like retargeting the people to bring them back in. So this is just one big piece alongside ClickFunnels that we use to make it all kind of happen. So we had a really fancy idea, which was to ship and talk at the same time. So there's only really a divider wall sitting right here. So basically we had our entire shipping department, we moved our entire shipping department back here, and we had our full call center here. So we checked it all, we checked all the lines, like everything's working really good. We came back here, started day 1, and we didn't realize how loud shipping was until that day, because the tape rolling over the boxes, labels going on, slapping. I mean, the shipping department, they have fun, right? They're yelling, they're having fun, they're like, yeah, like going crazy. Well, that doesn't help the call center, right? Because their mics pick up a lot of the background noise. So all of a sudden we went from like low level noise to like extreme level noise. So real quickly we said, hey, we got to move you back to R. So we're doing this whole like transition during that time, to where it's like, okay, we had this whole place. So we made this storage. So this started to be our storage. and then they would come back and forth with a truck from R saying, hey, we need these boxes, we're going to take them up front. And then of course that was still loud because they're raising doors. So right now we're actually in the process of moving all this out, and we're going to carpet these walls, build some walls out, and these are going to be like 2 or 3 offices back here. So it'll be really slick. So far this morning we've done 13 sales, we're at 7%. We've had 179 incoming calls. Average talk time is 2 minutes and 38 seconds. Our occupancy is 91, so that's huge. I mean, that's exactly what we want. We have outbound calls going out, so it's really, really nice where we can see everything that's happening in one little spot. That's what I love about it. So we have this for them too. They like to see it, like where they're at. We'll do games. We'll have cash prizes, things like that. They got all excited. Go crazy. So we get this thing up and running. We have 4 of us here, and it's just going nuts. Like the calls, we were getting like 10 calls a second is what it was. It was just, we weren't even ready for it. There was no way to prepare. Like we had no clue. We had no idea that was coming. We could never see the numbers. Come back, find out we were getting around 12 to 15,000 phone calls a day. At what was that, late December that we were getting that?
Yes.
Because people wanted to know where their package was, things like that. And it was just we were just like, wow, we are more underwater than we thought we were. But we had because there was so much volume coming through the funnels that it was just like a tsunami to where now we had to, come back and fight that with phones. 15 months ago, if someone said that we were going to run the amount of traffic that we're running through ClickFunnels, I would say that's pretty wild. I don't even know how it's possible. But to give you some numbers, we do around 3,000 to 5,000 transactions a day, okay? We run around 2 million to 3 million hits to our websites on ClickFunnels per month. So with those 3,000 transactions, we'll get about a 1.6 to a 1.7 on upsells. So for every 1 on order, we get 0.7 that'll take an upsell. So that averages our cart value to around $100, $140 per cart value that we're running. We've been able to send so much traffic through ClickFunnels that it has allowed us to now collect over we're approaching 400,000 buyer contacts. So we have a list of 400,000 buyers. Our email list is now over 1 million. Our Facebook page is over 300,000, just because of the traffic that we're able to push through ClickFunnels. So even though we're getting this flood of traffic through our funnels, it doesn't matter, right? It was able to gauge on that. It's like, okay, hey, they need a lot of traffic space, perfect, let's push that. Oh, hey, they're little today. Like there was enough gap and margin in between ClickFunnels that it was just like running pure, to where now it's on our side to like try and handle that traffic. And that's a pretty cool problem to have. So when you have that front end traffic loader coming in, then you're gonna get the phone calls, you're gonna get the mailings going out. So it's a pretty cool thing to experience. At the time we were doing voicemails. So as you can see, we were grabbing 13,000 voicemails that came in. And so what we started doing was outreaching to those people and saying, hey, we got your voicemail, we're reaching out and saying hi. But we have over 300,000 customers in our database, probably nearing like 400,000 now, to where we wanted to start doing outbound campaigns with those people. And with a system like Five9, we can one person can dial 250 people a day, okay? And on any type of call system, you want to dial in at least 3 times, meaning if they don't pick up, if they don't answer, twice, so you usually probably get them in between like 2 and 3 times. So a 400,000 database turns into about a 1.2 million database, because you got to do 1.2 million outbound calls. So if you look at that, having 10 agents dial 250 calls a day, that's 2,500 calls. Well, you're looking at about 2 years just to call those people back. Just to call them once. So you need quite the staff to do an outbound campaign, especially with that many clients. It's pretty wild. We'll print out the tickets here, the little slips that go out. They'll tell us where they're shipping to, where they're shipping from. And then basically what we can do is we can bring them over to the sorting table to make sure that all the items in this batch are the same, because we want to make it really easy on like our shippers and making sure that they're able to just flow through these as fast as they can. So right now we got a flashlight in the kit, we got kits, we got silhouettes, we got flashlights, we got targets, we got oil. So yeah, you want to make sure like each batch in its own self, when we deliver it, is like really easy flowing to the shipper. So let's go down this way. And I'll show you this, guys, while we're carrying this. So we have silhouettes that go out. These guys are stapling targets. Just think of how much ammunition has to be shot to go through all that paper. Like there is a mound, I don't know if you guys can see it. There's like a mound back there of just paper of targets. I mean, that is just ridiculous how many targets. We sell around 200,000 targets a month right now. And then people buy them in 10s, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. And then this is the mound of so right now we're going pretty much through our storage where we store everything, so we got to keep a clear path as everything goes. So right now, this have you ever seen so many flashlights? I mean, it's ridiculous. There's probably 189,000 flashlights just sitting here. So we have to, like, with the way that we operate, we have to make sure like we keep in enough product to be able to handle the traffic. So when dealing like with affiliates and mass marketing and pushing out, like launches or whatnot, you never know like when those big spikes are going to come. So you never want to like run out of inventory. So we make sure that we keep just enough to make sure that we can withstand that type of volume when it does come in. So that's the reason that we keep so much volume on hand. So basically what I'll do with these, I'll bring them over here and we'll lay these down. And then from here, they'll start, keep those. So they'll start pushing these on letters. So her job is basically just make sure that the labels are going on correctly, making sure when it goes down flow, that's going to be easier to ship out.
Check quantities as well.
Checking quantities as well. That's the big one. Who's doing that?
Her and I.
Yeah,
we do it
good.
here because we sort it down there, but we bring it here and
just make sure.
Double check it.
Perfect. So come on in here. So right now so they know that how many's going in these ones. So these are just singles going out. So this is one person that's bought one flashlight that's going to go out, steps it really quickly, really simple to do, passes down to the next guy. Henry Ford's the way. That's when we started really learning about assembly lines. Are you doing instruction manuals? Yeah. Perfect. It's a beautiful thing. Instruction manual seals it up, sticker on it, and then he comes and grabs it to go put it into ground transportation going out. So he'll go throw it into these big guys. So we have these three big Gaylords, depending on where it's going. It goes SurePost, Innovations, or International overseas. We'll fill a UPS semi-trailer a day just shipping out Gaylords, going through Innovations, UPS, things like that. But it's all because of ClickFunnels, is allowing us to convert and structure the traffic and make it, produce orders. Looking back, it's so cool to look at like older posts. Like Facebook now reminds you, like 1 year ago you were doing this, or 5 years ago you were doing this. And I was doing posts of crazy day today, shipped out 3 buckets of USPS. Wow, we're doing some massive amounts of shipping today. That right there was big, right? I was excited about that. And to this day it excites me, because if I didn't get excited about that, you're not going to get excited about shipping 1,000 out or 1,000,000 out or 1 billion out. It just won't work. You have to be truthful with yourself. What are you capable of? What's realistic, and what can you achieve? I always talk about celebrating as one, or celebrating as a family. So one cool thing that I was able to do because of ClickFunnels is take my entire family not only to Florida, but on a private jet. And that was pretty cool. I didn't tell anybody. I just told them, hey, we're gonna go to Florida. I got the plane tickets. I already took care of them. My mom's like, asking all these questions like, what's our flight number? And like, what seat are we in? And am I in an aisle seat? And we pull up to the airport and here's this jet, ladder down. And so not only did we get to take a private jet, but we got to welcome each other's company all the way to Florida and enjoy a 3-day event down there. And then fly all the way back and cheers, beers, and eat and have fun and laugh. And it was just a really, really cool experience. And like I said, that's all because of ClickFunnels. Yeah, we haven't even raced the boards. We moved out so quickly. So as it grows, we keep expanding, right? We keep building. And so now we found that the warehouse that we're in now is too small. And that was, 15 months ago that we just moved out of here. And now that place is too small. So now we have to move to a bigger facility. And so we're moving to around a 7,500 square foot facility to be able to handle the shipping that's going out of the facility. The call center, we need to expand it. We're taking the shipping department that was in the facility and carpeting that, building new walls so we can handle the incoming calls, so we can handle the outgoing orders, just to be able to build and scale. Making your first $100 a day is tough. And then you make your first $1,000 a day. Wow, okay, I see what it took to do that. Then you make your first 100,000. Then you make your first million. Then you make your first 10 million. Then you make your first 100 million. It's all the same. right? You know what it takes to get there. You're just one step away. I don't know where I'd be if it wasn't for ClickFunnels today. And the cool thing to tell you is everything that you see today, everything that is here today and that we talk about is because of ClickFunnels.